did 6 years in the military, in the Army, and here are my tips on why you should not join. Disclaimer, if you're about to join and you already got your mind made up, just scroll on past. This is to spread awareness, put exposure out there, and to save my kind from going into a white man's army. Number one, they're racist. Number two, you will never get your full amount of pay. So the amount of pay that they tell you they're going to pay you, you'll never see it. Number three, when it's time to get out and get your benefits, they're going to give you a hassle and bully you, harass you, and take all year long. Next tip, they don't like black people, so go in there and be prepared to be at the bottom of the swivel. You're going to be dealing with people who are used to the old way of living. Those people think they're still in 1930. Next tip is the food. They poison you through the food. They also put stuff in the food to throw off your body. Also, they give you so many shots, you'll never fully know what's inside of your body, and they require you to get every shot that the government comes out with. They take people right out the hood, so most of the people that's in the military have anger issues, mommy and daddy issues. No one who had a good life, that was wealthy, that grew up sane and stable with both parents and a healthy home is in the military. Nobody. Next is they're full of drunks because you're not supposed to do drugs, even though the higher-ups be doing coke. So they'll kick you out if you do weed, but the higher-ups and the white people be doing coke and getting away with it. When it comes down to medication, so I had started going to behavioral health. I wanted just a clearer space for my mental. They put me on 4 different types of medication to make me commit suicide. The doctor also confessed to me that I was their test dummy. Basically, they're guinea pigs, so when they get new medication, they try it out on the black people, and the number one side effect is suicidal thoughts. Bring me to my next tip. They off people and they get away with it. They cover it up. They'll lie to the family and say that the person off themselves. They'll lie and say it was an accident. When those soldiers go missing, the government know exactly where they're at. Next, they're also undercover bases, so it's so easy to get kidnapped and trafficked. Next tip is they don't care about your well-being. Anytime I went forward to report harassment, bullying, and racism, because technically we have EO, so it's supposed to be illegal to be racist in the military, but they just have things written down on paper just so we can look good for the white people. They don't give a fuck about that shit in person. Next is recruiters are scammers, they are liars, and they are energy thieves, and they steal money. Next is when it comes down to basic training, their motto is to break you down and build you back up. Nothing in life that is positive is going to start off by tearing you down. They break people's bodies. Anybody who's going to feel like they're going to come in negative on this post, go sign your ass up and join, and then you come back. If you don't have no intentions of joining, don't get on my post talking about somewhere. You can't say that. That's not everywhere. I travel every state in the United States except for 9, and I got treated the exact same way except for in Tennessee. So out of all the states, so that's what? So I've traveled to 41 states, and I only got treated fairly in 1 state, and that was Tennessee. Another thing is that when they cause you injuries, they're going to try to lie about it. They're going to try to cover it up. When I broke my foot, when they broke my foot because they dropped an object on my foot and broke it, they covered it up. They flew me to California to hide me. They did not take me to any doctor appointments. I never got my foot healed. I had to heal my foot on my own because I'm spiritual. I literally healed my own foot. They only put my cast on and they took it off like 9 months later. Never gave me no physical therapy or nothing. When you break your body down, you're responsible for building it back up. Even though they broke it. In basic training, there's literally a camp called sick bay that you can go to. Like if you get too sick and you can't do basic training for a few days, I got my teeth pulled, so I had to go there. And there were so many people who were there that did not pass basic training. So basically, sick bay was where they was hiding people out. I met one girl who had been there for 2 years, y'all. Her people think that she done moved on and she's in her military career. She haven't even left basic training, and basic training is 2 months. On my very first night of reception, 2 girls got raped by drill sergeants in the bathroom, and they covered it up, sent those girls to a psych ward. Now, I'm not saying that every individual person is wicked, but what I am saying is that the military has a job to do, and they are involved in cover-ups. If one is doing it, they're all doing it. It don't matter where you go. They all follow the same motto. The government does not like being exposed. I did 6 years in the military.
Shalom, shalom. This the brother Mawam. Come back with another sit down. Lord willing, it's edifying. Want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Harakak Wadash, and double honors to the old apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well. Honors and salutations to the men of the Lord, teaching this truth. Okay, and pretty much the title will be "Never Trust Thine Enemy." Okay, and off the back, I done heard, some of those stories I done already heard before, with the, women, going to the military and being coerced or, having sex with the guys that's in higher positions, and getting raped, all right, or basically cornered into cooperating or doing sexual favors, all right, and also about the you being forced to get all those shots, those up-to-date shots. Okay, so pretty much the title of this lesson will be Never Trust Thine Enemy. Okay, and you clearly see why. The truth is coming out, which that's old news, but everything she's saying been going on. But the former, the generations before and before, they never warned. And this goes to show you how destroyed 2/3 of our people are. Okay, and let me get that precept, because the generations before, they never warned, the younger generation about not going to the military. But then they'll turn around and tell you a crazy story about what happened in the military. Okay, Hosea 4:6. This Hosea 4:6. All right. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. Okay? So our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We're telling you as the men of the Lord, to repent. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, repent. If you're hearing this truth, come out of the military, all right? Because you're living in the last days, and World War III is, World War III is about to happen, okay? And, this is biblical prophecy, all right? World War III in the Bible is known as, the Battle of Armageddon, all right? The Valley of Jehoshaphat, okay? Or how you properly said in the Hebrew, the Valley of Yehoshaphat. Okay? So World War III is in the Bible, and World War III is already prophesied to go nuclear. Okay? But before it goes nuclear, in the midst of World War III, the Lord and the angels is going to enter this atmosphere and take over the earth. And the armies that be are going to try to fight against the Lord and the angels, and they're going to lose, as prophesied in the Bible. They're going to lose. Okay, so if you're in the military, if you don't repent, speaking to the Israelites, if you don't repent, you're going to be literally fighting against the Lord, if you even make it to that point. Okay. And then after that comes the nuclear missiles. Okay? So let's go back. These like the elder apostles of Great Millstone always say, once that mark of the beast is made mandatory, everything is going to move super fast. Okay? Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is speeding up prophecy. So once the mark of the beast, the RFID chip, and that Neuralink is made mandatory, bam. Okay? We know not too far after that, the nuclear missiles come. Okay? So we know before the nuclear missiles come, the Lord and the angels have to invade the earth. All right? The second coming of the Lord, of the Messiah, Yahweh Shah, has to happen. All right? So all of this is close. So you don't have time for, to be playing around. So this Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Okay? Again, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right? So the prophets of the Lord, beginning with the elder apostles, great millstone, down to the least of us, we did our job, and we're continuing to do our job and warning you who your enemy is. Okay? Of course, Christianity is not going to tell you you have actual enemies on this earth. Okay? They're just going to have you thinking it's just all spiritual. Okay? Nah, it's physical too. You have physical enemies. The physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan is Esau, Edom. All right? So-called white people. They're the biblical Edomites, descendants of Esau. All right? So they're natural born enemies of Jacob, the 12 tribes, the Israelites. Okay? All right? Because Christianity just paint the picture like, you just fighting demons, and it's you just fighting against Satan. All right? They just try to make you focused on like it's all spiritual, and don't they don't want you to. Christianity, it's like how can I put it? Not foolproof, but it's like another tool by Esau to keep you Israelites blinded from seeing who's your enemy on this earth. In the other nations outside of the 12 tribes, they're your enemy too. Okay? They're your enemy too, according to the Bible. All right, let me go here. Since I said that, let's go to Psalms 83. And I'm going to start at let's get this. Bear with me. All right. But yeah, like I said earlier, everything that woman said, that's old news. It been going on. I already heard a lot of those stories. I got I got a lot of family members that's veterans, and not only that, there's only one left that's currently still in the military. All right. So he should be on 10 years. He should be on 10 years. Because last time I talked to him, he was like at 8 years. And, I don't know what they putting in the food or what, but he want to keep he want to keep going in the military. But he making good money. But little do you know, we're living in the last days. All right, and World War III is almost here. It's knocking at the door. All right, this is biblical prophecy. Okay. All right, so this Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Oh, also I wanted to say, and this here's to show you, going back to Hosea 4 and 6, our people is destroyed for lack of knowledge, because you'll have veterans, actual veterans, and I know a couple. I got a couple classmates that's veterans. Okay, they didn't put in their 6 years. Some of them only did 4 years and got out. Some did 6 and got out. And they very discreet about what they say. You can still tell that their allegiance, and they have that military pride, and their allegiance is to it. But they do give out certain information, like, yeah, You know, it is prejudiceness and racism in the military. Okay? and so on and so on. You know, so I heard it from multiple sources that's normal. You know, that's normal. And you know, Jake just, you know, they just roll over so they get their they just be trying to get good credit, you know, a good head start. Basically, that's why they go to the military, get a good head start, and come out able to get their favorite car. You know, able to go to school if they want to. You know, and you know, trying to get a piece of the American pie. But guess what? If you're not paying attention, you know, society is about to collapse. World War III is about to go full blown, you know, full blown action. Okay? You know, so that American dream is over. All right? You know, you try not to live check to check and be poor, so you just go to the military. Those days is over. All right? Because now we're living in the life, I mean, not now we're living in a time period, you know, where you are going to the military and, you know, you won't make it back out. You thinking you're just about to do your time and come back to regular society. No. All right? And we see the prophecy, so we know, you know, shit about to hit the fan. Okay? So Psalms 83:2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. All right? And they've been, you know, they do this on all levels. They do this on all levels. Okay? You know, and to show you that these old ass niggas is sellouts and coons, they you know, they didn't experience so much racism and prejudiceness, and they don't warn the previous, I mean, not they don't warn the next generation to not go to the military. They just be quiet and take they Medal of Honor. You know? But everything that's done in the dark is coming out to the light, plain and simple. You know? So this Psalms 83, and I'm going to just jump straight down to 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and Moab and the Hagarenes. All right? I ain't going to read all of them. But Psalms 83, it names the enemies of the Israelites. Okay? So according to biblical history and secular history, all these other nations, you know, have been an enemy to the Israelites, to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. Okay? Who are the 12 tribes. Okay? I'm going to just get one precept out of this one, and I'm going to close out. All right, this is Jeremiah 50:22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. All right? You know, it's in the news. You got the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah telling you that World War III is coming. It's coming fast. It's around the corner. All right? You need to repent, you Israelites. And if you're in the military, you need to get out and pray that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah help you get out. All right? Or else you're just going to, you know, just going to get caught out there, and you're going to be sent out to war. Okay? And this war is going to be different. A lot of technology. All right? And the Lord and the angels going to show up in those chariots, so-called UFOs. All right? And you're not ready. You know, you're not ready to do that. And neither do you want to do that. You know? Because Yahweh Shah and the angels is coming to save the elect Israelites. All right? That's our only way of salvation out of this place. Okay? So, Lord willing, us edifying one to end it and give our praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Bahashim Harakak Wadash, and double honors to the old apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord doing the same, teaching the same.